yesterday we studied the rainbow and we talked about how the rainbow is important to God and important to us. It reminds us of something, and we briefly said that it reminds us of God's promises. And this week we're going to study a story in the Bible that really did happen because we know that all truth is God's truth. And everything He says in the Word is true, and we can trust Him that He speaks truth. So we can believe that everything about the story really did happen. And the main character in our story is a man named Noah. Now, God describes Noah, and this story is found in the book of Genesis, chapter 6. And in Genesis chapter 6, it talks about Noah, and it says this that Noah was righteous in God's eyes. Righteous. Now, it doesn't mean perfect, because we know that only God is perfect, right, in His Son Jesus. But righteous means that he did right in the eyes of the Lord. Like he really tried to do the right thing. Did he sin? Absolutely. Because he was a sinner, because he was lived in a fallen world. This was many years after Adam and Eve were kicked out of the garden, and after they had their children, and their children had children, and their children had children. Now the earth was full of people. But Noah was righteous. He was really living for Jesus and loving Jesus and working hard to obey Jesus. And God noticed that. He noticed that he was listening to him. But God saw that the other people on the earth were wicked and they were corrupt, it says, and they were doing the wrong thing. And the Lord saw that the humans on the earth were wicked and doing wrong. And He knew their thoughts, and He knew that their thoughts were wicked. God knows our thoughts too, doesn't He? God knows everything. And He also saw that their thoughts were evil, and God's heart was filled with pain because of the sin that the world and the earth was doing, and they were corrupting the earth. You know what? It goes to show how much God loves us, and it hurts Him when we're doing the wrong thing. You know why? Because He knows it's bad for us. He knows when we're doing the wrong thing that it is going to hurt us. And God is a just God, and He punishes sin because He wants us to love Him, and He wants us to know Him, and He knows it's best for us. So His heart hurt when He saw the world doing the wrong thing. So the Lord said, I will destroy all the human beings that I made on the earth, and I will destroy all the animals and everything that crawls on the earth, and I will destroy the birds of the air, and I will destroy all that I made. But Noah pleased the Lord, and he was righteous in God's eyes. He was the most righteous man of his time, and he walked with God. And he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Well, the people did what was evil. Violence was everywhere. God saw their violence. God saw the evil. So God said to Noah, the people have made this earth full of violence, so I will destroy them from the earth. But I need you to build a boat. And he gave them very specific ways to build it. Now, Noah could not just do what he wanted when he built that boat. Did you know that? Noah had to follow the plan exactly what the Lord told him. And guess what? God told him so much detail. He even told Noah the type of wood to use. He told Noah how big it had to be. And Noah had to work hard to be listening to the Lord and following God's directions. He said, Noah, make the wood out of cypress wood and make rooms in it and cover it inside and out with tar. I wonder why it had to be covered with something called tar. Do you know? God knew it, He was going to send something called rain. Now, Noah didn't know what rain was. He'd never seen rain because it never rained at that point. But God knew that boat had to stay dry on the inside, so He made sure it was covered correctly. And He said to Noah, this is how big the boat has to be. He said it has to be 450 feet long. Whoa, that's a really long boat. You know how big 1 foot is? It's about maybe this big. That's about 1 foot. It has to be 450 feet of those long. Wow. And 75 feet high and 45 feet wide. It was going to be a big boat for one man to make. And he said this, make an opening around the top of the boat and make it 18 inches high from the edge of the roof and put one door in the side of the boat. Make it an upper, middle, and lower deck boat. How many floors did it have? Upper, middle, and lower deck. It had 3 floors. And I will bring a flood of water on the earth. I will destroy, God told Noah, all living things that are under the sky. That includes everything that has breath. Everyone on the earth will die. But he said to Noah, I will make a promise with you. You, your sons, your wife, and your wife's sons will go into that boat, and you will also bring 2 of every kind of animal on that boat, a boy and a girl, and they will stay alive with you. So God had a plan to destroy the wickedness from the earth, and but he was going to protect Noah and Noah's family. So that's what we're going to be studying this week. But there's lots of things that we can remember in this part of the story of Noah. First of all, God punishes sin. He wants us to do the right thing. When I sin and when you sin, we will be punished for it, but God loves us and he had a plan for the people that were doing the right thing, that were trying to work really hard. Noah and his family, God noticed it. And you know what? God notices when you do the right thing too. And I think that's awesome that God cares enough about us that he notices when we are trying our best to do the right thing. And then the other thing that I thought of that was a really good lesson to learn in today's lesson is God gives rules and he wants us sometimes to be very specific, right, into following directions. And he gave Noah directions and he expected Noah to follow those directions exactly the way he told them because he knew they were best. Sometimes we have to follow directions too, don't we? Mom and dad give us directions, your teacher gives you directions, your baseball coach gives you directions. We follow directions all the time. And that's okay because those directions and those rules help us to live safely. So that was a great lesson that we learned with Noah today too. So come back on Thursday and we will talk more about the story of Noah and the ark. All right, did you get a chance to look at the rainbow extension? You can make a rainbow in your house by putting a glass of water in a jar and putting it near the windowsill where the sunlight comes in. Watch the way it reflects from the water to the floor and see if you see a rainbow. Hope you have a chance to try that out, and I will see you on Thursday because tomorrow's chapel.